Welcome to the channel. Today we are going to talk about types of compressors. FET compressor. What is a FET compressor? A FET compressor is an analog compressor that utilizes a field effect transistor at the core of the circuit. These compressors are fast-acting and offer greater transient preservation than other types of compressors. Characteristics of a FET compressor: very fast attack and release times. Non-linear compression that adds character via harmonic distortion. Additional saturation due to the inclusion of transformers. Requires low-level input signals. Requires more output gain, which often raises the noise floor. FET compressors share a similar design with the variable mu/tube compressors. The major difference is that they utilize field effect transistors, FETs, instead of tubes for the compression of the circuit. FET compressors will certainly color the sound due to their inherent distortion characteristics. They're cherished for their aggressive sound and are popular choices for drums, guitars, vocals and other sources that need a bit of edge to pop out in a mix. Optical compressor. What is an optical compressor? An optical compressor is an analog compressor that uses a light element and optical cell to alter the dynamics of an audio signal. As the amplitude of the audio signal increases, the light element emits more light and causes the optical cell to attenuate the amplitude of the output signal. Characteristics of an optical compressor: generally low distortion due to LDR. Relatively slow attack and release times. Non-linear attack and release controls. Frequency-dependent attack. Transparent sound. The input signal will feed the lamps, and as the input amplitude increases, the LDR will cause an increase in gain reduction to the signal. Although light is incredibly fast, optical compressors are actually rather slow, compared to FET and VCA types, at least, since the LDR is not particularly fast. Light-dependent resistors are also not very linear in terms of attack and release times, which can make them musical. Opto compressors are often chosen to help smooth out audio with fewer transients, helping to fit tracks into the mix without coloring them too much. They are typically avoided for bus compression and mastering. VCA compressor. What is a VCA compressor? A VCA, voltage-controlled amplifier, compressor is an analog compressor that utilizes a VCA control to apply compression. The input signal is split through an integrated circuit into a detector path, to control the VCA compression, and an output path. Characteristics of a VCA compressor: very low distortion. Flexible threshold, ratio, attack, release and, sometimes, knee parameter controls. Transparent sound. VCA compressors work by splitting the input signal through an integrated circuit (IC) chip and sending the signal to both a detector path and an output path. The detector path can be manipulated via the typical parameters and acts as the voltage-controlled amplifier of the output circuit, only that it controls the attenuation rather than amplification. VCA compressors are very flexible and transparent, making them go-to choices for any application requiring compression, from heavy transient drum tracks to soft strings to bus compression and mastering.
I've been hit first, felt the bullets, pulled the trigger. I'm not a killer. I've been caught by a lovesick drive-by. I've been hit first, felt the bullets, pulled the trigger. I'm not a killer. I've been caught by a lovesick drive-by.
Multiband compressor. What is multiband compression? Multiband dynamic range compression is a type of processing that splits the frequency spectrum into different bands and compresses each band by its own unique compression settings. A multiband compressor can be thought of as several compressors in one, with each compressor acting on its own defined band of frequencies. Each band will generally have its own set of parameters, including threshold, ratio, attack, release and makeup gain. Multiband compression is a fantastic tool and helps avoid overcompression in signals that are particularly well represented in certain frequency bands. Variable mu, tube, compressor. What is a variable mu compressor? A variable mu, variable gain, compressor is an analog compressor centered around a vacuum tube. As the input signal increases, the current sent to the grid of the tube decreases, which results in a reduction in the overall level. Characteristics of a variable mu, tube, compressor: relatively slow attack and release times, slight harmonic distortion, soft knee, program-dependent ratio. Tubes are well known in the audio industry as amplifiers, but they can also be used to attenuate signals, as is the case with variable mu/tube compressors. These compressors are considered program-dependent, which means that the ratio of compression increases as the input signal amplitude increases. Many variable mu compressors don't even have a ratio parameter control. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And see you next time.